They've done it again. Johanna Runt and Stephen Mitchell are the APTA national champions for the second year in a row.
There you have it, your women's APTA.
They've done it again. Johanna Runt and Stephen Mitchell are the APTA national champions for the second year in a row.
There you have it, your women's APTA national champions, Florentina Harnish and Anna Maria Zabori.
They've done it again. Johanna Runt and Stephen Mitchell are the APTA national champions for the second year in a row.
There you have it, your women's APTA national champions, Florentina Harnish and Anna Maria Zabori.
Hello and welcome to the APTA Tour. We're live from the Huntington Country Club in Huntington, New York, bringing you the 2022 APTA Men's and Women's National Championships, sponsored by the APTA membership, the APTA national sponsors, Biking and Paddle Pro, and local sponsor Joe Quintillion and Distributed Capital Partners, Signature Premier Properties, D'Addario and Company. I'm Mark Fischel, along with Maddie Garavaglia, bringing you this round of 32 match. Maddie, why don't you introduce the players?
So, Mark, today we have On the close side to us, we have reigning from France, we have Max Lopfevere, and his partner from Sweden is Mr. Martin Bostrom. They're playing the team from Indianapolis, of a Michael Valence and George Higgins. And if you happen to ever look at the player profiles, he might have the best player profile picture out there in the world. This George guy.
And George Higgins is the lefty in the green shirt.
No, George is actually George is the righty, and Michael is the lefty.
Okay, I was just testing you, Matt, to see if you were paying attention.
Yeah, they are, they are not teaching pros, which is a kind of a nice thing to see teams traveling in from another area to come in. One guy coming around, getting ready to play, and a pretty nice, warm, sunny day here in Huntington, New York.
So civilians, as John Lubau likes to say.
Yes.
Yeah, let's talk about the weather a little bit, because it's all of a sudden July in Huntington.
Yeah, so it's going to be very interesting with, the amount of, the sun will be an interesting factor as we notice it's moving down into the shore, where the lefty will actually have it in his face for the first time on the, back here on the east side of the court. But it is a warm day. That ball will be bouncing a lot.
So just for those of you who don't know, platform tennis courts are situated perpendicular to tennis courts because of the location of the sun in the winter months. So a platform court is east-west, whereas a tennis court is north-south. So as Matty accurately said, the sun is going to be bad on the east side, and that's the side that Bostrom Le Pavere are warming up on right now. Let's talk about them, Matty. Le Pavere has been to the semis and nationals with Juan Araya. Bostrom has been knocking on the door of the semis, had a couple of just heartbreaking losses, including having match point at Darien in 2020 and a tremendous effort against Burris Urdoya when his partner Blake Anderson sprained his ankle. These guys connected together second half of the season. Le Pavere hadn't been playing very much. I would say mixed results so far.
Yeah, they've been, obviously the potential upside can go, as far as all the way in a way. Their talent's there. One of the biggest things they have to, prevail is, getting through. I know at times it's, especially with the warmer weather, the ball will be bouncing a lot higher, letting Martin getting a little more spins on his shots, but it also be much harder to be controlling those drives, especially coming out of the Max's forehand. Maybe we'll see some of those two-handers he's been talking about.
Le Pavere's been working on his backhand. They can both play either side, both very comfortable deuce ad sides. Le Pavere's kind of made himself a deuce player. Forehand is more effective from the deuce court. Bostrom's got the ability to hurt you from anywhere on the court with any shot. That's never been in doubt. His shot selection has always been the issue that's kind of held him back to some degree. But last year, Kenubrook, he and Blake Anderson took the first set from Durant Mitchell, and I think it was one of the few sets maybe the only set they lost the entire tournament. So Bostrom can hurt anybody. Question is, can he maintain the discipline and the shot selection? And they've got to be pretty big favorites in this match.
Yes, I mean, great for this our ND team coming in, playing these guys. The good thing about the Indy paddle is it's been doing real well. The Hagman and the Helds and of the worlds have been getting a lot more players out down there in Indy, so they see a lot more of this. So it's not like they're going to be in shell shock, like first time seeing spins and the big shots coming at them the whole time. So they're used to this, and they're used to a little bit warmer weather down there in the Indianapolis area. So hopefully these guys are nice and relaxed and getting ready to play a good match.
In addition to all the vast array of weapons Bostrom has, he's probably got one of the best overhand serves in the country. Generates a lot of spin. And we're going to see a new serve from him today, we believe, Matty. Why don't you kind of talk about that?
So he's perfected was one of the first ones ever to try the serve that Randy did in the tournament.
Randy Lofgren.
Randy Lofgren did, and that when he
Big shout out to Randy Lofgren, hurt his back and is unable to play this weekend. Is home in Charlotte watching everything intently.
He is probably the only one to have aced Mr. Durant this year.
Multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
So that serve is different. Now that serve is a real high serve with a lot of spin that bounces back over the net.
And Martin also likes to every once in a while maybe hit the serve very hard.
Especially into the deuce court. So aim for the deuce court corner and have the ball kind of explode out and the player will be unable to chase it down, almost like a hard overhead.
A little bit somewhat like a former top 5 player from here in Long Island of John Schmidt used to like to try to hit those things hard. And he always said that hitting it hard at the nick, he didn't like to hit a first volleys. Why try to hit a first volley when you can almost ace the person?
Right, but the difference there is Schmidt was looking for the nick. Bostrom is not necessarily looking for the nick. He's just looking for the explosion off the back wire.
That's the difference between an American and a Swede.
There you go. The Swedes are smarter. And he calls that serve a brocket.
I have to have a feeling that I don't know which one of them came up with the name, but out of the two of those two, they would have come up with a little bit more of a name for that shot.
Bostrom said, we're keeping it simple.
Ah.
And there it is a little bit, as you see in practice. And for those of you who don't know, that's Bostrom in the white hat on the far side of the court, hitting that big serve there that you saw hit 3 wires. That could be kind of intimidating, Matty.
It will be a very interesting serve. I mean, you know, as we said, he can also hit. He has a lot of spin on a very softer serve too. So if you're looking just for the big one, he'll come down with the soft serve and spin it at you, giving you a lot of different looks.
Now let's talk about how the game is different in 70-degree weather versus our umpire. If Ned Jalek is announcing the players. Okay, that's court 2 announcing the players.
Mm-hmm.
Players getting some hydration before we get started. Okay, so Bostrom is going to serve, so maybe we're going to get to see that return right, or that serve right off the bat. On the next court, we have Zach Held and his partner playing against Humphreys, Usses, Koenig, and this is going to be the 2 winners will be playing the 16s, and that's going to be tonight at 5:30. So here's Bostrom to serve. And he comes right after him, and he serves the ball out of the court on the deuce side, which is hard to accomplish, actually.
I was told that would be his first fault of the day.
It's interesting that Lupavera went to get the ball. He's small enough that he can get underneath that banner without having a problem as he crawls back onto the court. It's interesting because you see that serve a lot in the ad court where it's coming towards the side wire, hits the back wire, and then goes over the side wire. But that one, not so much.
See the spin he can put on that serve there.
I talked about earlier, Bostrom puts a lot of spin on the ball. So winner from there. And Lupavera is one of the best positional volleyers in the game. He's got great hands, very soft, great mover.
He's also very good at literally getting out of the way of his partner so that if he will allow his partner in the ad side to take more of the overheads. Here comes the interesting part with the lefty now. Won't be able to too many, cut overhead with that sun inside.
A big rip from Lupavera. That's the biggest variable in his game is his forehand. When that forehand is good, he's as good as there is in the country. But when that forehand's not so good, doesn't have a lot of offense.
It's the lob there that they need to get. They need to lob Max a lot more, making Martin have to go way over Max's side.
Lob is long, 40-15 for Bostrom.
40-15.
And there is an ace. You probably would have chased that one down, Matty.
I would have probably tried to jump over the net about 4 or 5 years ago. Nowadays, I would have said nicer. And that is the only time, Mark, that a ball can hit the back screen and go over the net and be, rewarded to your point.
Otherwise, it's lost a point if it's on an overhead or a drive.
Correct. But one of the things also we talked about the weather is about how warm it is out here. Some of these guys have to realize it's the first time there's some of these guys that have really seen the sun that much. So A lot of these guys are going to be
Wild
hopefully-
forehand there from Le Pavere.
yeah.
Football.
Footfall called on a fault.
First time on live stream can always be a little nerve-wracking. Hopefully these guys just relax.
Higgins Valens won their first round match easily. And these first few games are so important against a seeded team like Bostrom Le Pavere. If you don't kind of make a stand early, they can just roll over you. And that's inexperience with a spin, Matt. That's a ball you'd expect a seasoned player to get.
Well, again, it's one of those where not only is it great spin and stuff with the warm weather, people are not used to seeing how much it really will jump, where 2 days ago when 45 degrees out, that ball doesn't jump nearly as much.
Le Pavere's been working on that sidearm serve, and I think the best thing I can say about it is it's a work in progress. Had real troubles with it in Philadelphia. But knowing Le Pavere's been out in the courts practicing it endlessly.
15 all.
That's the lob right there, though, Mark, that they need to really be making Max go back on it to Martin. If Martin does come over, he can't do as much.
Good action here. So for Higgins Valens, the question is going to be, where's the offense going to come from in the backcourt?
But on a day like today, you got to tell yourself, one of the things when you're playing a seeded team is you don't have to try to, look so pretty and be. Take your time, wait for your opportunities, because you're going to get it eventually with this kind of weather.
A good volley by Bostrom. It's interesting, all the other courts have some shade, at least the ones that I can see. 2, 3, and 4. This is the one court that's still full sun based on the angle of it. Good patient point here as Bostrom
That's
misses on the
exactly
cutter.
what Valencia and Higgins need to do. They need to play it. I mean, you're not going to beat them in a boxing match, a quick box match. You got to take your time.
Two faults and a missed overhead this game. There's Le Pavere crossing. You see he likes to close in real tight to the net. It's kind of a
Swing.
uncommitted swing, right? Doesn't really have a lot of belief in that ball. That's a great get on the nick there. Bostrom will be out to the fast 3-love lead.
Mark, do you think that when you're playing against a team that's got all this kind of offense and you're coming out there, is it more important for you to try to show them that you can play offense with them, or do you think it's better for the team to say, hey, look, we're going to stay patient, we're going to stay in the point, we're going to work the point over, that you guys are going to have to mentally beat us the whole day?
I think you got to get into points. I think you got to make some volleys and let them know you're here to stay. So I think it's a combination of the two, but I think the ability to make some volleys is the most important. Oh, Pavera does that so well. Hits him in the head and apologizes, and that was just a great play by Pavera. You cannot hit that down up overhead against him. He's so good at blitzing it like that. There's some of his speed as he misses that one, but great position.
Good move, great move.
Catches the seam there. Yeah, right now it's a shooting gallery.
Yes, Higgins wants to need to slow it down. Even if they serve and stayed back a little bit and maybe got into it a little bit more, they need to slow down this game a little bit, otherwise it's going to get out away from too quickly.
And that's what I was talking about, just making a couple of volleys. Right now they haven't made those volleys, and Bostrom and Pavera is very comfortable. Okay, Bostrom again. Let's see that the Brockett serve. He's lining up out wide, and he hits him with it. Well, that's 2 of the last 3 points. Higgins has gotten plugged. And the reason that Bostrom can't hit that hard serve on the ad court, Matt?
Well, the one big thing is he's got such great spin to the ad side that he can get it namely where the person more likely is going to be defensive.
How would you defend this hard serve that Bostrom is hitting right here?
Not the way we were showed in warm-up.
So Higgins is standing too deep in the court. He'll never chase it down. Oh, I don't know would have chased that one down at all. Another ace for Bostrom. Boy, that serve is impressive, huh?
Your best bet is, honestly, as he gets ready to hit it, is to move up, try to take, he's going to hit that serve where if he hits that corner, you can't do anything about the nick, but if he other try that, you got to go up close to the screen and get it.
Five love. Yeah, that serve is tremendous. I mean, if it hits the nick, you're done. You know that. But you have to be prepared to play the rest of them. So I think you need to be ready to move forward much more quickly and not play so deep in the court.
No, you do. You have to take that chance of the cat and mouse game. Show him that you're going to stay back, move in after he hits it. If it happens at the nick, you can't worry about that. But if it doesn't, then you can chase it down. But you can't stand in a normal position to hit that.
Bostrom has hit every single one in the deuce court in the box, and he's hit them all hard. The first one went over the fence. The rest have been really effective. Okay, so Higgins to serve.
That's bad luck.
When it's going bad,
it just goes.
It just goes.
In this sport, there's no other sport like it. When it starts to roll down, it just rolls.
Although, in fairness, Matt, you never get any good breaks. Having played with you for years, it's like every let court goes the other way, every nick is bad. You're very capable with regard to that.
I've been told but it's hard to get let courts when you lob a lot, Mark. So that's why we're up here. Okay,
triple set point.
It's a great serve though. It's just a great serve. Martin just tried a little too much.
15-40.
Another great serve. Smart move.
There's that two-hander from Pavera that we were watching, and that scheme. Nope, Yeah, game in first set,
Yeah,
6-love, Bostrom Lipavere.
You also notice real quick, Mark, the difference of where they stand in the court. We'll talk about that.
Why don't you elaborate on that?
Where, if you notice where Bostrom and La Pavera are standing at the backcourt, yes, they're getting in the points more and have a little more offense, but they're standing closer with this warm weather to the baseline, looking for offensive early, and then if it's not there, then they'll just wait their opportunity. Where in Higgins of Valencia, a little bit farther back, letting the spins get to them a little bit, not being able to force and put any pressure on La Pavera and Bostrom to hit any harder, better overheads.
Okay, Viking, 1 ball through them all. 1 ball is consistently chosen for the sport's highest level tournaments, league play, social events, and weekend outings. Viking. For the last 25 years, remained the overwhelming choice. Viking, unleash the warrior in you. The official ball of the APTA, the official ball of the National Championship and President's Cup, and the official ball of the Grand Prix Series. So, Maddie, what do you want to see from Higgins and Valens here to kind of turn things around? Or is the horse left the barn, so to speak?
Well, listen, it's you're playing 2 out of 3 sets, and obviously, I mean, the first set, if 6-0, we've seen a lot of teams come back from 6-0. The one thing they really need, they need to get their heads into it. They need to really tell themselves, all right, let's hit a few more lobs. Let's get to the point, step up, show a little bit early, and then when they do drive, they need to be, decisive with it. It seems like because it is warm, it looks like they're a little dismiss, like trying to guide it more than hit it. And one of the biggest things we all know, Mark, is when people guide the ball, especially in warmer weather, it never works.
Okay, they're warming up the ball, so to speak. And while they're doing so, let's thank another one of our sponsors, Paddle Pro. For over 20 years, Paddle Pro has been recognized as an industry leader in platform tennis. The knowledge, expert advice, vast inventory, and ultimate customer service will help any player find the perfect equipment to take your game to the next level. Paddle Pro is the only website to carry all platform tennis brands. For more information, go to www.paddlepro.com. Maddie, surprised that Le Pavere started this set, not Bostrom?
Well, not really. When it comes to the sun and with the sun and the underhand serve, it really won't make that much of a difference. If it gets going later in the set, Bostrom rather be serving with the sun and behind them. But a good forehand to start that thing off.
I think Le Pavere expected that one to be long.
But that's the one right there. The Higgins of Valencia hits a nice lob, but they're staying way too far back. There they go. Because it's so warm out, they need to flatten it out a little bit. They're playing up a little bit, make them show a little bit more offense.
You see Le Pavere hesitating to come in, just kind of taking a look to see where the serve lands, and then coming forward.
But that was the Higgins half slice. Instead of putting 2 hands on and hitting it or daggering it, you can't be pushing it out here.
Another fault from Le Pavere. Yeah, I think that the decision to have Le Pavere serve first is somewhat questionable.
Yes, but again, keep the sides, make it different. The sun is a big factor today. It will be, especially in the next, it's going to be moving and moving.
It's less of a factor if you can't get your serve in the box.
No.
So first game, Higgins-Valens. They lead 1-love, second set, and they are on the board, courtesy of a very generous Max Le Pavere.
This is where Higgins and Valens can get, hopefully, get a little momentum, get this match going a little bit, give some life to themselves.
Well, here's where they got to make a volley or two and kind of make a stand. That's a start. And Bostrom is just a load. I mean, he hits the ball so purely over both sides. Really difficult to handle.
That's what I was talking about. Not the worst thing for Higgins and Valens to stay back some. I mean, I can't be missing lobs, but just stay back a little bit, maybe, work into the point, because it is so much offense coming off the Bostrom paddle.
Put so much pressure on you from everywhere on the court. There's Le Pavere. Oh, he read that one. Crazy spin. That was a real miss hit from Le Pavere, and you saw that ball explode off the side wire. I think he got that one off the tip of the paddle.
Yes, but he read it so early, so that's a shot. As you were talking about before, Mark, when La Pavere's forehand's on, he's one of the top players in the country by far. If it's off, he gets defensive, but he's always had a very good high forehand. People always, when you can't go down up to it, unless you hit the neck.
Got beaten by that, Nick. That was an explosive one. $15-30. That's a good volley.
Very good volley.
Lupavere will not be happy with that.
No. But as he said, people are like, oh, 6-0. Yes. The one thing about, unfortunately, losing a set 6-0 is you can kind of go, okay, we can get back into this. Where if you lose that tough set sometimes, you kind of lose it mentally in the beginning.
That was the type of volley that they just have to make. That just gives Bostrom and Lupavere the confidence that anytime they get a good swing, they're going to cause a volley error. So who do you think is better served between Bostrom and Lupavere?
Are we talking about platform tennis?
Any tennis you want to talk about? Great cut winner from Bostrom.
And then when players like Bostrom can get relaxed and loose and don't feel pressure, it just allows them to spin the ball more, to hit the ball, more spin, more cleaner. You got to put some pressure on them so that they feel that they can just do whatever they want whenever they want.
Yes, you got to make them uncomfortable. Right now, they're just very comfortable. Oh. Oh, that's number 3. And that was solid.
But that's a down-up overhead that you get away with in a league match, but you don't get away when you're playing the number 9 team in the country.
You see how still Bostrom and Lupavere are when they volley.
But the good news was on there.
Wow, Bostrom looks really good.
Some players, Mark, when they're in the front, it's just if they have the train going, it's hard to slow down. And Martin's one of those because he just can bring so much spin and so much power.
So that's 2-1 second set, Bostrom Lupavere, and it sure looks like Bostrom Lupavere headed for a rematch. Humphreys, Ossis Koenig, who they lost to in Boston. I tell you, that serve, the Brocket, as Bostrom calls it, is really impressive. It hasn't missed one yet, other than the one that bounced off out of the court.
It's a great serve by Valenza. The lefty got the
Little more conventional.
a little more conventional, almost ace style.
Another footfall called.
That's the other thing. When you get a foot fault called on you early, it's got to be nerve-wracking knowing that there's people watching and you can get called on it. You don't realize sometimes you do it because sometimes you don't realize that your front foot moves.
Bostrom Lupavere switching in the backcourt. We talked about earlier. They each play both sides effectively well, although you couldn't tell that from the Lupavere shot there. Wow, that's some backhand from Bostrom.
I like the serve and stay back. I really did, and I thought it was smart, but you don't need to try to hit a forehand winner off somebody who just got done hitting a big backhand return.
Bostrom missed that one. He mimics taking another step back.
But you see how close they're playing to the baseline. Yes, he didn't happen to move back on that one. But because they're playing so close to the baseline, they're putting way more pressure. That's the one you overhead. You got to commit to hit. You can't push.
Another really clean strike from Bostrom on the return to serve. Le Pavere is doing all he can to keep them in the game. Is that out? Good distance on that.
That was probably his longest and straightest drive of the year.
Miguel Cobbs hits it further though. Miguel Cobbs and Andrew Chan with a nice first round win today.
Yes. Representing Long Island. Playing their round of 32 as we speak. It's a nice move by Higgins.
Fair's backhand lob is so effective. He holds the ball so long.
Great volley.
115.
Boy, Le Pavere's sidearm serve just killing him right now. Missing just way too many. Oh boy.
Great move at bad execution, unfortunately, but it was a great move, the great return. And that's what you got to look for against those underhand serves, the sidearm serves. If they're not coming in, and you can get it back to them. Definitely look to be blitzing.
That was a generous call. A little surprised Le Pavere's going sidearm. His overhand serve has been so improved. He hit it so well last year when he played with Pritsenko.
Soft hands.
And if you're staying back, what's the advantage of the sidearm serve? You get a good view, see how far that Bostrom ball travels off the wire. So it puts the spin on it. Oh, swing and a miss there.
30-20. Game, Higgins, Valenette. Second set, game 2. First set, 16-love.
Another kind donation from Le Pavere, and that takes us to 3-2. So Matt, you still think that Le Pavere should have served first and stayed on the same sides? You do?
Only because Martin got to hit a couple more aces on the other side. However, I mean, one of the big things is when Bostrom hits that big serve, you know, you're trying. And one of the things in these matches, especially for these seeded teams, they always like to try things. I mean, it's really important for them to feel confident so when they go play at the next match, they can do whatever they want. Mark, I think one of the things, too, is we're talking about the Bostrom La Pavere is, you could say something that, you know, Bostrom hasn't really missed many shots and La Pavere. But it's also when your partners hit so many winners and things that are like, sometimes not easy to play next to him. Sometimes you feel like, what should you do? Should I be more aggressive, get out of his way more? And it makes it a little tough sometimes.
Yeah. You just can't serve on a day like today and come forward against Bostrom. That's just not a winning recipe. You can hear the sound of the ball off his paddle. He's very confident, hitting the ball really cleanly. Pavere with a nice little shank volley wins the point there. That ball barely cleared the net and then caught the outside of the line.
These guys from, these gentlemen from Indianapolis are very generous calls too. Anything close is nothing but call anyway.
Oh, very clever little shot from Bostrom. That's wide. First bad miss of the day from Bostrom.
15-40.
Oh, great pickup. Bostrom was very confident in that out call. Wrong, but confident. Oh boy. Little confusion at the net there.
3-all in the second set.
3-3. The Brock's coming first.
The Brock. And there, LePavere stays home and hits the winner. Here it comes. Oh! Almost went over the side wire. 40 love. You would have had that one though, Matty. Game Bostrom would rather lead 4-3, second set. Introducing the Viking Axe. Bold, unique, innovative, groundbreaking. The perfect blend of both worlds. All Axe models combine the superb maneuverability of the Ozones with the oversized head and stability that reignites. At 88.9 square inches, it's a truly oversized frame, but specifically designed with a longer handle to accommodate a two-handed backhand, one of the most important shots in the modern game. Featuring Viking's proprietary carbon throat stability system for enhanced stability and shock reduction of contact, the Axe has a massive sweet spot. It's very forgiving for balls hit outside of it. Viking, rule the court. Any thoughts, Matty? Or are we coming to the end of the line? I think that's our last changeover.
The big thing here is in Higgins and Valencia is, again, certain things. Start taking some of the, faults, it doesn't help, but when they're at the backcourt, they're not being precise. It's just like they don't have a plan of what they want to do. And that's one of the biggest differences between some of the top teams and some of the teams that have a plan of where they're going to hit their shots. You know, even the partner kind of knows where that's going to happen and how they're playing.
Well, one plan they could have is have LePavere serve more often. That would help them enormously. And the good news for them is he's serving next. Oh, what an explosive move by LePavere. Get an idea what kind of athlete he is there. The ball just came way off the nick, and he still read it well enough to read it and track it down.
Beautiful serve.
15-20.
LePavere serve.
Yep.
With all the weather, we're talking about this beautiful weather. I hear since we're supposed to have some not so nice weather tomorrow, I hear we get a treat later today though. Some more matches.
Yep, we're going to have a round of 16 tonight, and there you see LePavere go overhand. And based on the way he served sidearm, I think that's a great decision.
Yes.
But LePavere is very versatile. He can fault sidearm and overhand.
I like to see him take his time just a little bit more. in between those serves. Sometimes he just kind of gets there quickly and goes.
And these are the points that Higgins-Valens have just not been able to find a way through. They've just been in survival mode the whole time. And eventually someone catches a nick or a seam or hits a cut winner. Oh, it misses that one.
40.
Pavere overhand again.
That's the ball that you have to take down the line against LaPavera because he loves to cut across. He's so quick and so fast.
Like that. And he's got such good hands for volleying. He's just so still. Great cut winner there from him.
15-40.
Good cut there by Valencia, though. You just got to finish that swing.
Two points from the match. And that takes us to match point. He is so good at catching his toss.
You see how precise Bostrom was by just lobbing down the lines, ended up knowing that he's going to set himself or LaPavera up for that shot instead of just. Sometimes some of these players get in a match, they don't have a, they're lobbing to lob and not lobbing to look.
Yep,
That's a good swing, though.
Yep, good switch, got a ball to hit.
Oh.
I'm not quite sure which side of the paddle he made contact with on that ball.
I don't think it spun as much as he thought it was, and then got the sun behind him. Cannot be easy.
Match point number 2. And there it is, game, set, and match. Bostrom LaPavera, 6-love, 6-3. Matty, closing thoughts?
Well, with Bostrom LaPavera, if they get out into an early start and they have not a lot of pressure on them, that's the kind of paddle that those guys with all the spins can play.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun seeing that Brockett from Bostrom. That big serve is very interesting.
Very interesting to see. It is a. He's been waiting for the 70-degree day, and we finally got it for him. And he asked for it, so we gave it to him.
Okay, well, if they're going to be playing the round of 16 at 5:30 tonight, and we may be seeing them. And we'll be back then after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel, presented by ENET Live.
Even if I was standing over here, I'm not tall.
Great job. Hey, good stuff to you.
Patty, good job.
Yeah, a lot of fun. You guys look great out there. How long have you been playing?
Who, me? Oh, I've been playing my whole life. How about you?
Wow, I only started playing when I retired.
Someone say retired?
Looking good out there, Eli.
Thank you.